Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey creepy, yeah, that's my style. Creepy crawlers, Kimiko's vibe. We laugh at the dark, find joy in the fears. In a world full of noise, I'm the one you hear. In a smoky room, filled with gloom. Hell is here, podcast doom.
Hello, all you creepy crawlers, and welcome back to another episode of the Blowing Smoke Podcast with Kimiko Kusanagi. Today, we're revving up the chainsaw and heading into the dusty, blood-soaked back roads of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This 1974 classic didn't just scare the hell out of us, it birthed the Backwoods horror trope and changed how we see rural America. So light up and listen in, stay sharp. This is gonna cut deep. So, for those of you who haven't ventured into this nightmare, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper and it hit theaters in 1974, it follows 5 young friends, Sally, Franklin, and their pals, who take a road trip through rural Texas and stumble into the clutches of a cannibalistic family led by the chainsaw-wielding Leatherface. The film spawned sequels, remakes, and a whole subgenre of horror. It's raw, gritty, grimy, feels like a fever dream that you just can't escape. Today we're dissecting how it shaped the backwoods trope, the idea of rural America as a dangerous, unhinged wilderness, and its lasting impact on culture. So, you know what? Let's get our hands bloody. Let's set the scene. 1974. Horror is still finding its feet. Psycho gave us psychological chills. Night of the Living Dead brought zombies. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's a gut punch. Tobe Hooper and co-writer Kim Henkel crafted a film that feels like it was shot in a slaughterhouse and the budget was under $140,000, but it grossed millions because it hit a nerve. The story's simple. A group of city kids driving through rural Texas to check up on a family grave, pick up a creepy hitchhiker, then end up at the wrong house. A house where Leatherface and his cannibalistic clan live. What makes it stand out? Well, it's not just gore, though there's plenty. It's the vibe. The film feels real, like a snuff film that you found in the basement. Hooper was inspired by real events loosely based on Ed Gein, the Wisconsin killer who made furniture from human skin. But it's the setting, rural Texas, with its dusty roads, abandoned gas stations, and oppressive heat, that birthed the backwoods horror trope. This isn't the cozy countryside. It's a place where civilization ends and something primal takes over. Leatherface himself is at the heart of this. Unlike later slashers like Freddy or Jason, he's not a quippy villain. He's a hulking, silent figure in human skin mask, swinging a chainsaw like it's an extension of his arm. He's not evil in a calculated way. He's just part of this twisted family, doing what they do: kill, eat, and survive. The Sawyer family, Grandpa, the hitchhiker, the cook, aren't monsters in a supernatural sense. They're human, which makes them scarier. They're what happens when society's rules break down in the middle of nowhere. The backwoods trope defined. Let's cut into the main course. The backwoods horror trope. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't invent rural horror. Think Deliverance in 1972. But it crystallized the idea of rural America as a terrifying, lawless place. The trope goes like this. City folks, usually young and naive, venture into the countryside and they're out of their element, and the locals, isolated, eccentric, often violent, see them as prey. It's urban versus rural, civilization versus savagery. In Texas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but we're just going to say Texas because I'm tired of saying it all. The city kids are our entry point. Sally and her friends are free-spirited, maybe a bit cocky, driving, their van through Texas like it's a road trip adventure. Then they meet the Sawyers, who are the ultimate backwoods nightmare, a family of cannibals who turn their decrepit house into a slaughterhouse. The film plays up on the rural setting. Empty fields, rusted machinery, bones scattered everywhere. It's like the land itself is hostile. Key elements of the trope. First, isolation. The Sawyers' house is miles from help. No cops, no neighbors, just you and the chainsaw. This makes the stakes feel suffocating. Second, the degenerate locals. The Sawyer family isn't just dangerous. They're portrayed as unhinged, almost subhuman, living outside society norms. Third, the class divide. The city kids represent progress, youth, the future. The Sawyers are stuck in a dying world, laid off from the slaughterhouse, resorting to cannibalism to survive. This trope also includes the "don't go there" warning. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's the gas station owner who subtly tries to steer the kids away. Later films, made this explicit. Think of the creepy locals in Wrong Turn or The Hills Have Eyes. And then there's the final girl, Sally, who screams her way through the film's brutal climax. She's not as proactive as later final girls like Nancy in Nightmare, but her survival, bloody, traumatized, escaping in a truck, set the stage for the trope. The film's raw aesthetic, grainy film stock, documentary-like shots, makes the backwoods feel alive and oppressive. It's not just a setting, it's a character. This trope became a horror staple, influencing everything from A House of a Thousand Corpses to Tucker and Dale versus Evil. The cultural impact and societal implications. So why did it hit so hard? Let's talk cultural impact. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in 1974, a time when America was grappling with division. The Vietnam War, Watergate, economic struggles. The country felt fractured. Urban areas were seen as modern progressive. Rural areas were often stereotyped as backwood and stuck in time. Texas Chainsaw Massacre leaned into that divide, portraying the countryside as a place where city folks don't belong. The Sawyer family reflects real anxieties, their backstory, their loss of their slaughterhouse jobs to automation, mirrors the economic decline of rural America in the 70s. Small towns were hurting, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre turned that into a horror story. What happens when people are pushed to the edge? Cannibalism, apparently. It's exaggerated, but it's trapped into fears of society breaking apart. The backwoods trope also played on urban paranoia about rural people. The Sawyers aren't just killers. They're portrayed as freaks who reject civilization. This fed a stereotype of rural Americans as dangerous, uneducated, or savage. It's problematic, no question. Films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and its imitators like The Hills Have Eyes, Wrong Turn often paint rural folk as monsters and ignoring the complexity of rural life. It's a caricature that's stuck around, from horror movies to political rhetoric. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre also critiques society. The Sawyers are products of a system that abandoned them. Their cannibalism is a twisted response to economic collapse, a way to consume the world that left them behind. It's no coincidence the film came out during an oil crisis and rising in unemployment. It's a dark mirror to capitalism's failures. The film also shaped how we consume horror. Its low-budgeted grit made it feel authentic, almost like a warning. This could happen. It was banned in several countries, which only fueled its legend. The VHS era made it a cult classic, passed around like a forbidden artifact. Leatherface's chainsaw dance, wild, chaotic, and iconic, became a symbol of raw, untamed horror. So let's talk legacy. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't just create the backwoods trope, it defined slasher horror. It came before Halloween or Friday the 13th, setting the stage for isolated settings and relentless killers. The sequels, especially the campy 1986 Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, leaned into dark comedy. But the original's raw terror inspired countless films like The Hills Have Eyes, Motel Hell, House of a Thousand Corpses. They all owe a debt to Hooper's vision. Modern horror still carries the backwoods DNA. Wrong Turn and its sequels are direct descendants, with mutant cannibals in the woods. Even Midsummer flips the trope, setting its rural horror in a bright Swedish commune. Comedies like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil subvert it, showing that rural folks are misunderstood heroes. And games like Resident Evil 7 set it in a swampy Louisiana mansion and channel that Texas vibe, grimy, isolated, and terrifying. The trope's influence goes beyond horror. It's in TV shows like Justified, where rural settings are gritty and dangerous. It's in urban legends about hillbillies or rednecks that persist in pop culture. But it's also sparked pushback. Rural communities have called out the stereotype, and some filmmakers, like Tucker and Dale's creators, use humor to reclaim the narrative. Texas Chainsaw Massacre also changed horror's tone. Its unrelenting intensity made later slashers up their game. In 2003, the remake polished the visuals but kept the backwoods care, proving that tropes the staying power of the trope. Leatherface remains a horror icon, he's not as talkative as Freddy or mythic as Jason, but he's just as unforgettable. Alright, smoke blowers. We've carved through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, its backwards terror, its raw energy, and its grip on how we see rural American. This film didn't just scare us, it shaped a trope that's still cutting through horror and culture. It's a reminder that fear often comes from what we don't understand, whether it's a chainsaw-wielding maniac or a divided society. What's your take on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies? What's your favorite kill? Scariest moment? Or thoughts on the backwoods trope? If you want more on the film's impact, check out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the film that terrified a rattled nation by Joseph Lanza, for a deep dive. Next week, we're staying awake and venturing out to Elm Street. So until then, keep your gas tank full and avoid hitchhikers. Like, share, and subscribe for more. You stay creepy like Kimiko Kusanagi, okay? Bye!